Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey friends, won't you take a minute right now and try to imagine how you'd feel living the unique and distinct life you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. Well, that's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you it makes for a very happy life. And so can Brian and Jen Walker. They're my guest stars today, and they're here to share their unique and distinct journey to their life of significance. Hey, Brian and Jen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Just take a minute, if you would, to get us started and tell us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world.
Oh boy. Yeah, Jen and I own Cody Craft Brewing in Cody, Wyoming. It's the newest brewery and tap room here in Cody, and yeah, we just we aim for making a quality product and a quality environment for folks to come out and enjoy with friends and family. And outside of that, I also still have a day job working in tech.
Ah, very good. And describe, how long have you had the brewery?
We have been open, 15 months now.
Oh.
Yeah, although it's an idea that started in our head probably 18, 20 years ago. But life does its thing. You get in a routine, and it got to a point where, when I was living out of a suitcase 9 months out of the year, and when I was leaving on Mondays, having the daughters cry that I was leaving, it's like, you know what? There's something better to do, and so we took the plunge.
Very good. Describe for our audience, if you will, kind of the open setting that you've created and the environment that you have beyond the brewery. It's a community. So give us a minute on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with regards to the building itself, I mean, we wanted to really kind of follow that like English/German public house type of environment, where very open floor plan. Everybody's, it's the antithesis of a cubicle farm, really. Promotes conversation, not sitting there staring at your phones or staring at your TVs. And everything is centered around the brewing equipment and the tap wall. So you can see how the product is being made. You can see how your bartenders are pouring your beer, and really it's an experience as much as it is just coming out and enjoying a quality product. And then we really wanted to make ourselves part of the community. So we really try to, as much as we can, get out there and get involved, be it with our local animal shelter, or our food bank. Our most recent event was for the Cody Fireworks Committee to raise funds to have fireworks on the 4th of July. And so we had an event here at the tap room, and it brought out a good crowd, and we were able to raise some money for the Cody Fireworks Committee.
Good stuff. All right, Brian and Jen, let's have some fun with mathematics and let our friends all around the world get to know you through our happy formula. So it's a simple equation, but it gets powerful results. It's power plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with power. What are your practices for creating all the personal power you need to get things done, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? In other words, Brian and Jen, what do you do on a regular basis to create all the power you need to take really good care of yourselves and your loved ones, and still have plenty left over to be a giver to others?
Ooh, that's probably one thing that I personally probably need to work on, because I have a tendency to run myself ragged. But I think we've done a good balance here of trying to I guess make sure we're home for our daughters. They knew doing something like this was going to be a pretty big change. And so, we try to make it a point to be there as much as we can, still be involved, um, within the brewery. Granted, I'm here, goodness, at least 16 to 18 hours a day. So I've forged some pretty incredible friendships with people who started as patrons. And so, talking to them, seeing how they're doing, seeing how their family's doing, is a nice way to interact and build friendships and build rapport with people. I don't know, Jen, if you have anything to add.
No, that's what I've found doing this, meeting people and creating really good friendships. I have some really, really good friends that have come of this, and it's kind of a family thing. And it's just, and like you said, just trying to spend as much time as we can with our girls as well, and just gotta balance.
Yeah,
Hard to
which
balance.
is one thing I'm probably not real great at. I've caught myself double booking and triple booking myself because of poor calendar management or poor time management, because I have a difficult time saying no.
Yeah, but one of the things when you're really into your dream, that is a power builder all by itself, right? So it's like maybe you're not exercising as much as you'd like to, or you're not, spending time spiritually, but you're investing in your girls and you're investing in your business and your relationships there. And so we get power from all kinds of different sources. And, sometimes we always say you should balance, but sometimes I think it's okay not to balance it, just to really go after that which is really meaningful to you. And it seems to me like that not the brewery so much as the idea of community that you're creating around that brewery is what's jacking you guys up.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I've seen happen in the time that we've been open, that I think is really neat, is a lot of friendships have developed here. Not necessarily something that involves Generi, but maybe they went to high school together and they haven't seen each other in 40 years, or we've got a regular here whose dad is good friends with another one of our regulars, and they didn't have that connection. And so meeting here and talking, oh, this person, I know that person, that guy's my dad. And so we've seen a lot of good friendships develop just here in the tap room, and that's something that makes me pretty happy.
Gives you juice. So let's talk about one of my favorite capacity building concepts. It's called a Kaizen state of mind. And it's this beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And I love it because it's based on mindset, not circumstance. So Kaizening life is knowing there's always something I can do better tomorrow than I did today. It's optimistic, and it creates this gentle, powerful, and continuous uplifting of my life day after day after day. So Brian and Jen, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your personal power so you can continuously become more and you can continuously give more? And it could relate to your relationships. It could relate to the process of making beer, or your family. It's just, as you do small incremental things, you gain more power for the next day.
Sure. Yeah. And I like that, because I think it works in many different ways. You'll see it, especially like around financial things, the whole debt snowball thing. It's little pieces compounding to become something big.
It works both ways, right? Downhill and
yeah.
uphill. Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly. For me in the brewery, in the tap room, it's I guess it's more taking a watch and observe approach to see what works and what doesn't work, and make those small changes throughout, I guess, the life of the business. I mean, I think, putting in, something as simple as decor, really, it's small little things like that, hey, somebody come in, I really like that, or, oh, that's a really neat idea. And soliciting the feedback, it's, as anybody who owns a business knows, unless you're really fortunate, money's tight initially. And by initially, it's a few years. And so you have to be smart about what you do and how you do it. And if implementing A, B, and C can get you to D, E, F, G, H, I, and all the way down, being smart and being incremental in that decision making process, I think really lends itself to that. We do the same thing on the beer side. We'll start with a base recipe and figure, that's that one snowflake or that one, starting point. And then, talk to people, solicit feedback, try different things and see what works. And if it works, we build on that and we'll make some adjustments to that. And it gets bigger and better. And to the point where, now we've got, people that knock on the door on May 1st for a particular release that we have because it was so incredible last year.
That's great. How about you, Jen? How does Kaizen work for you?
Like he was saying, like things like decor or, people just coming in and even giving us ideas to do things, and sometimes we do, just like our pinball. We never thought of that before, and somebody came in and said, hey, what about pinball? And now we have how many?
8 machines.
Yeah.
I have it when I was there.
Yeah.
And just, having games and for people to play, families come in, we've got little kids games, we've got adult games, it's just for everybody.
I think of events too. Like I know you've worked on putting together events that have, really kind of blossomed into something bigger. And now, what started as a one-off, like, Jen did the chili cook-off that we did. It started as a single one-off event. And it was such a huge success that people now want to start building on that. And hey, we should have categories, or hey, we should do a barbecue, or, something like that.
That's how Kaizen works. And, 10 years from now, that chili cook-off might be a big annual thing that's going on in Cody.
Mm-hmm.
As things build on top of each other, and before you know it, you're actually capable of doing so much more than you were when you started.
Yeah.
The idea of Kaizen. Okay, let's move on to purpose. That's the second element of our happy formula. And guys, I've observed that the big transformations or discovery of purpose in life often comes through devastation, sadly. Addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster. Something awful strips a life to its core and creates this big change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover my purpose through inspiration. So how about you guys? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
I think for me, I don't know if I'd call it a crisis necessarily. Maybe, I don't know what I don't want to say midlife crisis either, because you get to a point where, for me, and maybe, it's just a revelation in your mind that, every Monday, when I'm flying out to some city, across the world, and my daughters are at home crying, because I'm not going to be back until Friday. That for me really set off the thought in my head that, at that point I had been, grinding for goodness, 20 years, in the tech world. And it's nothing like children to make you rethink things. And, I figured, we had seen and had become really good friends with other brewery owners, and saw that sense of community in their tap rooms, and saw the level of involvement. And these are not the types of breweries where somebody's going and now they're living the millionaire life, but they are significantly more happy than I was. Granted, you make decent money in tech, but if you're miserable, what good is that?
Right.
And so we got to that point where it's like, okay, you know what, we could continue this grind and be miserable, but have that nice house, or we can do what we want to do. We can do what we love, and build on that. And that's really the big thing for me. And then I guess just to kind of, continue on the, the purpose train, for lack of a better term. One of my, biggest, earliest champions was my mother. And, she was an early investor, in getting this going. And, she'd be a sounding board for me if, we had, bad days, or, during the remodel. And, she passed a month ago now. And, that's kind of renewed that purpose. It's like, I know she's watching over and she wants this to be successful. So, we're going to continue on doing this.
Wow, that's awesome. How about you, Jen?
Yeah, and to go out, we met a lot of other brewery owners when we were, deciding to do this, getting, just feedback from them, and a couple that owns one of our favorite breweries, they said to us, do it or you're going to regret. Even if you don't make it, you'll regret it if you don't do it.
Yep. Good for them.
Yeah.
So in my research for you guys, and it happened to be like about 5 months ago, we tried to get you on the show.
Truth be told, this is the first hour I got in those 5 months. So you're lucky.
Anyways, I think I discovered that back in 2015 or 2016 in Fort Collins, that you were enjoying a pint of beer at a local favorite brewery. I don't know if that's the same one you were talking about. And you
Probably.
decided this was going to happen, and you wanted it to happen. And you had your favorite spot already in Wyoming. And so is that what you were just talking about, Jen?
Yes.
Okay. And so that was 7 years ago, or 5 years before you got started. Talk to the audience, just give a minute or so about how strong that decision was, and how you had the obstacles you had to overcome over all those years, and to keep that fire burning. How did you do that? Because there must have been many times you could have said, it's just more than we can handle.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to answer. But I'm sure Jen will have more. The desire, I guess, the entrepreneurial spirit has always been a part of my work ethic, my drive, and so really the thought of opening a brewery was in my head back in 2000. But again, life does its thing. You start working in tech, and but I had the opportunity to work at startups and run lines of business within larger organizations. So it kind of whet the thirst a little for that entrepreneurial piece of it. And yeah, I mean, we would talk about it at, down in Fort Collins, and that flame really, I don't think it was ever at risk of being extinguished. One of the things is I'm very deliberate in my decision-making process, and wanted to be confident that, hey, when we're doing this is the right time. It's setting us up for success. We can weather roadblocks, whatever it may be. And so we had an immediate test with that when we incorporated in May of 2019, and COVID happened.
That's right.
Yeah. But we've managed to make it work. Surprisingly, starting a business during the middle of COVID wasn't nearly as stressful as I thought it was going to be, but it certainly did add time to the process. But that flame for me never went away. And I not to put words in Jen's mouth, but I mean, we talked about it so much that I venture to say it's probably the same for her.
Yeah, it was just like he said, it's always been there. There were just things that we had to do first. And, we had our girls, and, it was always there. It was going to happen. It was just a matter of time and when we could do it, So, and I think it was just kind of all right, let's do this. And here we are.
Never look back. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Brian and Jen, let's take a quick break so we can spread a little love with our sponsors. Happy is an intentional and lifelong journey, but it's hard to change and grow towards higher levels of happy without knowing where you're starting from. Our Happy Quiz puts a starting pin on the map to your happy living and provides additional guidance and motivation along the way. Just go to happyliving.com and take the Happy Quiz to get started on your road to happy. And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your happy host, Matt Gersper. And my guest stars today are Brian and Jen Walker. They're the owners of Cody Craft Brewing in Cody, Wyoming. I stayed there a couple of nights as a Harvest Host guest back in, I think, maybe October or so, and loved the cool space and the vibe of your brewery, and mostly I loved the beer. And Brian and Jen, I think you'll love this article. It's called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. I found it on livescience.com, and it says, the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. It says how science supports the notion that giving of one's time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose and transcending difficulties and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So I updated our formula. Capacity plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So what do you think, guys? In your life, have you found that giving your time and your talents and your treasures has been a pathway for discovering your purpose, or for transcending difficulties you've faced, or for bringing real meaning into your life?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I'd say so. Although, I'm probably somebody who needs to work on, the being on the other side of it. What I want, I mean, it may sound cliche, but when people come in here, I'm not here to give them beer. I'm here to give them a wonderful experience. And if their desire is just to sit there and just read a paper and have some peace and quiet, I'm happy to offer that. If you want to sit there and talk about the science of brewing, I'm happy to have those conversations as well. And to see people who come in here and have a fun time, a good experience, that gives me a lot of fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what the article is talking about. So you expressed earlier in the last segment, you expressed when I think the two men came together and renewed their friendship, and what that meant to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'll do this. I'm doing this and I'm giving, but it's fulfilling back to me, or it's giving something back to me. That's what the article is. How about you, Jen?
Yeah.
I like, we do a lot in the community, and now, these organizations come to us now and want to do their events here. And it's just, that was one of my biggest things coming here. Like, we've got to get out into the community, because we're a business, but we need to be part of the community as well, because this is our home now. And, I love to help, however I can, just giving my time to these events, or, that's fulfilling to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you also, I mean, the idea of going to the community, and then you just express that now the community is coming to you. That's that Kaizen at work. You're able to do more with less. And if you keep building your life around that, I don't think there's an end. You're a tech guy. I was in the tech business. There is ultimately really no end to that, because you can keep growing and keep gaining, whether it's wisdom or connections or, it's power, it's capacity. And the idea of giving, the science is telling us that fourth element of significance, doing work that creates values for others, has a power of its own. And I know from my own experience, the magic of life comes not from getting more, but from giving more. But especially with this show, I've been recognizing that there's more to it than that. It's not just the giving that's magical. What I've been exploring and learning from my guests and in my own life too is it's when you're giving from living in your purpose. That's where you find the real magic. So tell us, guys, how does it feel to be happily living your life, giving to others through the work you were put on this planet to do in your beautiful brewery in Wyoming, and the people around you have taken notice? So Brian and Jen, I'd like you to sit back, just open your hearts and just listen for a little while to the impact that you're making on others by living and giving from the life you were meant to live. First person said, Brian and Jen are a power couple who are passionate about their family, their community, and their brewery. Their dedication shows in all they do, and they do it because they love it. I got introduced to them when I was in North Absaroka Ski Patrol, and they were spitballing ideas and hosting a fundraiser. Brian gave us a full tour, and they were super excited about helping us out. They make their space available to all sorts of groups and organizations that need a public place to gather. Both Brian and Jennifer have always bettered themselves as time passes. Kaizen. They're both hard workers, and good things come as a result. I'm proud of them both. Friendly, outgoing, wonderful, authentic, salt of the earth. They love their customers. Entrepreneurial, impressive, experts in the craft. Cody Craft Brewing was the highlight of our visit to Wyoming, to the whole state. Oh my goodness, so good. I might have wrote that one. I had to bring a growler home. I'm so glad I stopped in. I never knew such a gym existed in Cody. This is the best brewery I've been to in Wyoming. The best beer, the best staff, the best tap room. I'll be back. Your brewery is my favorite. The Twisted Wire and Double Twisted Wire are on par for national beers. As a food truck business owner, I appreciate their hospitality and willingness to help others in pursuit of their entrepreneurship by opening their property for us to sell on. They've left a stable and secure career to make their dreams a reality, and that takes real courage in today's uncertain times. They didn't simply open a business, they uprooted their entire lives to open a business that they've been dreaming of and planning for with hopeful hearts for a very long time. Who doesn't love a happy ending? Who doesn't love a happy ending story like this? You couldn't ask for a nicer family. And finally, this person encourages us all to go enjoy their delicious beers with an emphasis on you can't go wrong. Oh my goodness, Brian and Jen, how does all that love make you feel?
I mean, it's incredible, and it validates what we're doing.
Absolutely.
It's a really cool thing. I can relate it to. I have rental properties. Excuse me, and we do vacation rentals. And when I first bought the place and we got it all ready to go, and the first family went in, it was like this huge joy that I felt because they were in my property enjoying themselves. And you see that and feel that all the time, and that just gives you juice to keep going, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. And it's nice to hear, because I mean, we find ourselves, it's just so deep in the trenches working all the time. It's, I think we probably need to pick our head up every once in a while and just look around.
Enjoy it. Yes, that's the magic. It's this great big happy circle. It's giving your time and your talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose. And giving from living in your purpose brings a profound joy to your life and to the lives of all those around you. Giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. So guys, to more properly reflect the exponential power of the happy formula, I'm going to tweak it just a little bit more and change it to capacity times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think so.
Very good. I think, this is what I've been talking about with my guests. When you're knee deep in doing your thing, life gets easier because you're motivated for it. Even when you're still doing tech work, you're motivated to get back to brewery and creating your space.
Mhm.
and you affect people around you, but you don't notice it because you don't think anything of it because it's just so
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
That's when you found it.
Yeah.
That's the magic of it. Okay, let's wrap things up with a lightning round. I love the power of words and the capacity for great quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few of my favorites, and then you tell us what they mean to you. First thing that comes to mind, and let's go Jen first, and then Brian second. And it's a lightning round, folks, so be ready. First one from Benjamin Franklin. Beer is living proof that God wants us to be happy. Jen?
That's just a true statement.
Yeah, that's definitely rooted in fact.
Yes.
Good stuff. From Paul Hawken. Go deep in a specialty, get a customer, make them happy. You first, Jen.
Oh, can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Go deep in a specialty, get a customer, make them happy.
Yeah, that's basically, that's what we do. We have
Yeah.
something and we've got to make it good and make sure everyone's happy with it.
Yeah, I mean that's about as simplified of a way to explain how to start a business or run a business as it could be. That's you're missing about 6,000 sub bullets off of those.
That's been on my bulletin board for about 30 years.
Yeah.
This one's from Jack London. Coming to you first, Jen. From Jack London. I would rather be a superb meteor, every atom of me in magnificent glow, than a sleepy and permanent planet.
Yeah, that's a good one. Just being in motion and doing things and doing things for people. And yeah, I would rather be doing something than just sitting around.
Yeah, I'd say sitting around being stagnant is boring. Constantly moving, whether it's to run a business or improve yourself, it's a winning formula.
This one's from Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2. I love this. Do not forget to entertain strangers, for by doing so, some have unwittingly entertained angels.
Yeah, that's kind of deep. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's you just never know who you're talking to. And like I said before, I met people and we are great friends now. And so I would say best friends who I would consider angels.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, like the quote says, I mean, you can really just take that as using an opportunity to be nice, to entertain a customer when they're in here, and they're going to take that and they're going to tell their friends and their family and acquaintances, they become our best marketers.
Mhm. This is one from my past. Once you get where you want to be, you're not there anymore.
I guess I kind of interpret that as,
You're a planet then.
Yeah, right.
And not a meteor. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
So
there's always room for growth and room for improvement and room for change.
Yeah.
When you get there, you have to find out where the new there is.
Yeah. Yeah. You climb the mountain and then you're looking, okay, where next?
Yep.
All right. This is the show anchor. It's from Goff. They're all my favorites. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Yeah, you just, like I've said before, it was do it or you're going to regret not doing it or even trying.
I'll see that a lot in like on LinkedIn, as it relates to business. It's, you're never going to get to where you want to go or what your dream is unless you take that first step. And that first step is the scariest step of all. And, it's akin to jumping off a cliff and hoping your parachute opens up, and you won't know until you take that jump.
And I think that Jen, you pointed out 2 or 3 times this idea of regret. It's one thing to leave it all, if to go there and to put everything you have into it and fail, and that'd be sad. But it wouldn't. There's not a regret component there, because you did everything. You followed your heart. And you did everything you could.
Exactly.
And that's the message I want to get out there to our audience: is if you're thinking about it, just figure out a way to start doing it. And it might not be all tomorrow, but step by step by step, 5, 10, 15 years, all of a sudden you look around and say, wow, how did I get here? And I'm glad I made friends. Yeah.
Yeah. The one analogy I always, being a baseball fan, the one analogy I really like, everybody tries to go out and hit a home run, but it's base hits that win baseball games. And you've got to get base hits. And, you're going to get a single, a single, a single, a single. Yeah. Maybe now in the game you get a double or a triple, but don't come out of the gate trying to hit a home run, because you'll strike out.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, folks, now it's your turn to be a giver too. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Brian and Jen Walker, then please share some love with our amazing broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Brian and Jen, I love your steadfast commitment and singular focus on brewing the best beer ever to be tasted, and your promise that quality is something you will never, ever compromise on. And I admire your vision and hope that your neighbors will enjoy the brewery just as you intend it to be, a relaxing and comfortable place to share love and friendship and a pint of delicious Cody crafted beer. That's wonderful. And you're both wonderful. And I'm super happy
Thank you.
Your courageous and delicious entrepreneurial spirit on our show today. Will you take a minute or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
No, I just thank you for the opportunity to chat today. And if wherever you're listening, if you get an opportunity to support small and local business, who have taken that step, please do so. I make that a point myself. And yeah, sometimes it's easier to hop on a website and order something, but you're sending money off to another location. Whereas if you buy local, you're buying their kid's prom dress, you're paying their rent, you're paying their mortgage. The money stays within your community and helps, and you can see that. And shop and support local.
Good stuff, Jen.
I agree with that completely. Like he said, I try to, as much as I can, stay local. And even in the brewing process, we try to, all our ingredients, as much as we can, is from local. It stays here and it helps us.
That's great. Very good. All right. I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Brian and Jen and reaching folks just like you, ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Brian and Jen Walker. Find them, friend them, follow their new blog, and support them on their quest to become the official brewery of Wyoming. It's all available at codycraftbrewing.com. That's CODYCraftbrewing.com. All one word, codycraftbrewing.com. From me to you, dear friends, I love you, and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So go to happyliving.com and take our happy quiz, because when you measure your happy, you'll focus attention on it, and focusing attention on it inspires change and learning and improvement, all to flow right into your life. And once you take the quiz, and it only takes a minute, then I hope you'll give some thought about what we can do together right now to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.